a little bit of doubles, which, man, this is the day. Like, doubles right now is, oh, chef's kiss to whoever. I wish I knew who to give shout outs to for who made this doubles Slippy mod, unregistered, unofficial Slippy version, I guess you'd call it.
It's out of Slippy. It's not tied to Slippy, but Slippy changed his plans to integrate it into Slippy.
Right. So
Does that make sense?
soon to be just a
It's
normal
it's a
feature.
mod of Slippy, which is really interesting, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
did he make it open source? I know we're not coders, so we might be out of our depth here, but
I just know they're teaming. So Slippy's like, you're doing some cool stuff. Like, let's work together. So
Well,
I think it's gonna be under the Slippy flagship soon.
I'm here for it. That's all I have to say. They're up to version 7. At this point, they might be up to version 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I think doubles is definitely catching a lot of love. It's one of those things. It's like, for so long, dubs was kind of the forgotten stepchild in a way. Like, obviously, top players gave it a lot of love, but then there would just be instances like Mango oversleeping and not entering dubs. Like, people shitting on dubs for taking up stream time or like making the tournament go long. It's the first thing to cut when you're trying to put a tournament together. It's like, oh, we don't have enough time. We have to cut doubles, or we have to squeeze it into one day, you know? And now it's like, we couldn't play it for so long. Now it's available and it's catching a lot of love. I see doubles really picking up steam in these next few months. Stop me if that's just my bias or if you see the same kind of trends.
I think that like doubles is super hype. I never caught the doubles bug, but that's only because it was so hard to find like within New York City like a solid doubles partner that wanted to like grind it out with you.
Sure.
And I feel like your enjoyment of doubles is really dependent on finding those few people that you're like, let's play teams together and stuff like that. Like you have chess obviously and pig.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like doubles as a wave, I think this is going to be really big. And I think really the biggest stopgap for doubles isn't even the ability to play games because the technology is coming. It's already moving towards our way. I think it's more about there's such a lack of understanding and appreciation for doubles. Sure. Because it kept on getting called out at tournaments and because, you know, like people will sit and watch the top 8 of majors, but they won't sit and watch the top 8 of doubles with their friends, and they'll do their money matches during it and play friendly sessions or go drink or whatever, right? And I think that's been the biggest issue. But like with everything moving online, I'm really curious if that's going to change. But really, there's just such a lack of knowledge of the nuance of doubles outside of like Crimson Blur telling everyone how sick it is, I think.
I completely agree. I think you hit the most important points, which are the accessibility. I mean, it's an accessibility issue, right? And now that the technical accessibility is there, and now we can like just say, hey, download this thing. It's just as easy as downloading Slippy. And you know it's going to be good because singles is good and people are vouching for it. Tournaments are starting and all that. The tough thing for doubles has always been, how do you watch doubles? Melee's always felt like that game, like in DBZ, where only the top fighters can see the fighting that's happening. But doubles is actually that. Doubles is actually like you could be good and not see it. You could be great. You could be top 100. And if you're not a doubles player or you're not a main of one of the characters, you're just like, you have to put all your brain power into processing what the hell's happening. That's why commentary for doubles is a complete meme. It is.
Oh, it is. It's so bad.
Impossible. I don't blame it. I've tried doing it. I've tried commentating dubs. It's literally the hardest thing. It's like juggling while freestyle rapping at the same time. You know, it's two parts.
It's some Huey Mack shit for sure.
Who's Huey Mack?
He's the guy who just like freestyle raps everything he sees while he's walking.
I do know who that is, and you're
I
absolutely
showed,
right.
yeah, because I showed it to you on a road trip, my guy.
Chill. I liked it.
I know. I think also a big thing is like the just okay. Well, before we get into like more issues with doubles, I think a good thing with this build is that it just eliminates the financial aspect of doubles. Like
Yep.
even I sometimes like especially when I wasn't with my earlier jobs like fresh out of college.
Mm.
Sometimes I wouldn't pay like $5 for doubles. It adds up. It adds up, and
Because you know
I
it's
think
getting farmed. Doubles is like,
yeah, exactly.
you know who's winning doubles.
Yes,
so free.
exactly. And I think like the other thing is talk about winning doubles. Shout outs to I think it was Hacks promised his little pastry. Remember little pastry
Yeah,
from
yeah,
New
yeah.
York?
Yep.
He promised he would team with him at doubles, and then Slox asked Hacks to to play doubles with him last minute, and Hacks was like, "Sorry, bro."
Yeah, that's grime. That's grime PR.
I know.
Please.
Nah, I don't know. It's funny.
Honorable
But
mention.
honorable mention for sure. I think the other thing is the reason why there's no nuance on the commentary aspect, because I love that idea. It was really just a shit show in terms of commentary, is because there's no stable teams. It's like it's kind of like almost like everyone's just trying to randomly match in like a Hunger Games style of like alliances. Like, okay, like
Sure.
Axe and Moki are weirdly paired together, and then okay, so I feel like there's only a few static teams like PewFat, KFC, all of those guys, and so I think with the advent of net play doubles, you'll see a lot more static teammates, and then not only can the meta progress because it's definitely so underdeveloped, but also play styles will develop as well around it, where you'll be able to look at matches and be like, so this team plays like this. Because if you're just seeing Hacks and Moki play for the first time, you won't have that nuanced analysis to it that you have with singles. Like we talk about singles and we talk about Moki being super sick, Sunsei being exciting and not standard combos. We talk about the Wizzy tech chase, and stuff like that, and we just don't have any of those storylines in doubles. Because it's like which top player can meet with what top player, right?
Yeah. I think it would take a very deliberate effort to turn dubs into something that's more standardized and more narrative driven. I think you're absolutely right. So they would have to be sort of a circuit type thing of like week after week the same teams have to enter. Maybe you could do a sub here and there, like keep it somewhat flexible, because that's interesting too. It's like, oh, this team has a sub, they have like 2 per season or whatever, and they ended up doing really well. Like maybe, but it has to be. You have to learn the team as it is. Otherwise, you're just kind of trying to follow both players, and then the better. It's not interesting if it's like, oh, like Justice 4 when Hacks and Armada just teamed together.
Yeah.
They never did again, and they never did prior, and they won because they're just better. And so keeping it away from that is tricky also, because it's almost compounded your advantage. It's a multiplicative sort of effect of we're 20% better together, we're 60% better, just by the nature of how hard doubles is. So with all that being said, I still see a groundswell of interest in doubles, which is the most important thing, because people need to be interested in it. You have to understand how fun it is to play. How much more fun is it to get into a Discord with 3 of your homies and play dubs for a few hours? That's way more fun than a one-on-one session that can get try-hardy or it can just like turn into secondaries. In terms of like pure fun value, dubs has the heat in that regard. And then we'll see how that goes into the top level. We still don't even have a spectator mode, I don't think, with the dubs version. So we're still a long ways away from like any sort of content coming out of it, although am I wrong about that?
I don't think we have for doubles because it's not tied with Slippy. There's a Slippy spectator mode, but doubles hasn't been fully integrated to Slippy yet, from my understanding.
Okay, so you could only like stream your own doubles games, pretty much.
I would assume so. I mean, no one's running doubles tournaments also. Well, that's the thing also, is that it's so hard to run doubles into singles just because people have work and time. But now you can just run a doubles only event
Yeah,
pretty
I entered
easily.
one. Yeah, a couple weeks ago I entered one.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be really sick. I think that doubles has a lot of room to grow, and like to have double specialists, it will kind of make it to be like,
Do you mean
you
peach
know,
mains?
I do mean peach mains. Yeah, peach mains, and then just pair them with a fox, and you're fine.
Oh, the dream.
But, the dream, but no, I think like it's gonna be it could branch out. Like I could see it becoming a separate scene. You know, like similar to tennis. You know, I don't know the doubles tennis players, but you know, it's you have doubles and you have singles, and
Yeah.
you have certain players that specialize in both. Like I think for me, I'm always gonna love singles. I like at the moment from my experience with doubles, like I still love singles and I want to work on that. But like I think the idea that playing doubles won't make you better at singles is such a lie too. Like I never leaned on that. It was just like for me, it was always like, yeah, I don't have a consistent partner to play with, so it's not as fun. But yeah, like I'm curious to see if it will branch out and we'll start having double specialists and different storylines, then different players too. You know, like
Yeah.
we'll move completely out of the top 10 MOIM top 10. Like it might not even matter. You know, like Hacks, I'm sure isn't like super great at doubles. He's just a super good player.
Yeah. That's where team synergy comes in. I mean, me and Chess have always punched above our weight in doubles. I mean, that was the one thing that we took a lot of pride in, and we like learned through that. Always a step ahead. We would make upsets and dubs, and so finding and it felt so much better because it was with a teammate. You know, it was like we did it together, and it's like sharing that again. It's a multiplying type of deal. So, I guess that's like my pitch for doubles. I'm sure there are a ton of people that feel the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
I would say most top players have at least some sort of, at least a good memory associated with playing teams. If not at a tournament, then like at some sort of fest or like after, you know, at 3 a.m. at the big house, like friendly setups or, you know, whatever. It's really an important part of the community. And now that it's caught up to where we are with singles, I'm looking forward to just one like focused tournament, right? Like spectator mode hits. I want to see a big push to like get all the top players, get the hype going, just give doubles a really powerful embrace and show it the respect and show all the peach mains out there that they are seen and respected also. And I think that's super viable. I think there's a lot of love for teams out there.
Yeah, and to kind of close on that, I think that for me, what I'm excited about is just stop seeing like just two really good players win events. Like I want to see players that absolutely love doubles win double events, and I feel like for me as a spectator, more so than a player in doubles, like it just isn't as fun, you know, watching like Slox and Hacks win over Aklo and Foxy Grandpa, you know, because it's so clear that
that's a pretty outdated statement, though. Yeah, let's be real. If they played today, I think I'd have money on Foxy and Aklo.
I think I would still put money on Hacks and Slox, honestly.
I would take that bet. That's all I'm saying.
I would take that bet at a heartbeat. But you know, like I'm just excited to see that, and like I you know, it will stop being this like, oh, players are punching above their weight, but it's like, oh, they're a really good team. Because I think that's what one of the wrong things that went into the double storyline was, like when HBox and Crunch lost to Swedish and Slox, it was like, oh my gosh, these two players beat HBox and his coach, and who Crunch, who is like a good player too, but like it was viewed as like them punching above their weight rather than them being just better at doubles.
Sure.
Like, you know, Kaon and Darktooth is a great example too. Like it's not about punching them. It's not about them punching above their weight. It's just that they are actual double specialists, you know, within the top 100.
Yeah.
And they have such good synergy, and I think that's what I'm excited for. Is I think those new storylines need to be focused more on like than just like, oh, top player enters double events to make extra money.